Hey everyone, it's James, June 13th, about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We got the 4-hour chart of Bitcoin, BTC, USD on the Bitfinex exchange. And this is not investment advice. The video is done for educational purposes only. So as I talked about in yesterday's video, we talked about the selling pressure, and you could clearly see that identified by this line, just cutting through the price action. It was what I like to call a Dumbo line, to where you're just connecting tops, and anybody can do it. Even somebody brand new to technical analysis. It's not that they're idiots. It's just that you have a lot of people looking at this. It's a very simple line. Yet this simple line can clearly tell us what is happening in the market. Because not only did we have a weak breakout, which I talked about in one of my, I think 2 or 3 days ago now, but we revisited the line and cut through it. And I said that was a bad sign for price, showing extreme selling pressure in this market. So now we try to break out once again, and then immediately got hammered back down and broke major support here at 64.25, which is not a good sign. The next level of support is 6,000, which I'm not quite sure if that's really going to hold up. And I think it's kind of like we're going to cross our fingers and hope that this V bottom is going to provide some type of support. If not, we could easily start to see Bitcoin slide into maybe the mid 5,000s, potentially even lower. There's no telling, because what we're doing now is breaking to a new low for the year if we do cut through 6,000. So I don't want to just guess at some random price level down here and tell you that's where the bottom's going to be. But what I can tell you is that if the selling pressure does keep up, it's going to be a brutal move down. We're also seeing volume dwindle. Volume will spike up into the moves up, and then immediately as we start getting a little later into this run, like so, let me just kind of draw it out for you a little bit. As we start going this way, volume starts drying out, meaning less and less participants, and then boom, price falls over because there's not as many people sustaining this market. And that's one thing I touched about in my prior video too. We see things like the tether, potentially being the reason for prices, gigantic escalation like to the upside, and it's and it's possible. And then we also see that the potential hackers are responsible for the sell-offs, but it's just mumbo jumbo. At the end of the day, this market was artificially inflated ever since the bubble. So everything before, potentially, yeah, Tether maybe played this big part in it. I don't know. I'm not this Bitcoin guru. I focus on charts in different markets. I don't dive down the rabbit hole into these asset classes. I do like cryptocurrency. I do see the future of it. However, what I do see from analyzing charts for, I don't know, like 10 plus years now, is that you have a bubble phase. You have basically the implosion of the market due to the bubble. We had this clear V-bottom intervention in this market, more than likely from either financial institutions or exchanges that obviously altered the price and halted its movement at this point, created a false rally. And by false rally, I mean that they dumped into this rally just as hard as it rallied, leading to this rollover here, right? So just blatant manipulation of price for big money to escape. The reason why it rolls over is because there's not as much money flowing in as flowing out, because you have big players dumping into smaller players, and of course they cannot sustain price at those levels. Again, the same thing reoccurred multiple times. We had a false pump here, another false pump down here, right here, and also right here. So we started seeing this very similar pattern. This isn't hackers. This isn't anything other than clear and blatant manipulation that is well calculated. That's it at the end of the day. So we'll have the Department of Justice doing an investigation. I highly doubt that's going to go anywhere. But I don't talk about it as fear. I don't talk about it as the end of the market or anybody gets scared. There's still money to be made regardless of what happens. Who cares? The manipulation is always going to be there. Every single market. I trade a lot in gold, and gold is highly manipulated. I mean, highly manipulated. But the pattern, there's certain things that reoccur. You can kind of see the manipulation, but Bitcoin has been the clearest picture I've ever seen in my life of just manipulation repeated at a very specific. Like we have the high, the low, the bear flag, this drop, this pump, like this just continuous repetition of pattern, and it slightly changed here. It changed its face a little bit, but then guess what we had? The drop, the little bit of a bear flag, the W formation, the pop, the churn. This is the high, the lower high, waterfall off a cliff. Oh, what does it look like? It looks like this, right? Lower high, drop off a cliff. Lower high, drop off a cliff. So something just very repetitive in nature that we see in this market. But I want to see how price holds up to 6,000. If it cuts through 6,000, then we're making a new low for the year. Not good at all for this market whatsoever, because then what we have is this a high right here, a lower high, a low, and then a lower low with just a little in between of a time waster. And if that happens, it's not going to be good for the market, as we would then start to enter a bear market phase, meaning that we're just going to have further downside. It's not necessarily the end of the market, but it's going to be very tough for longs to make profitable positions, especially if the trend is working against you. So hopefully all that makes sense. If you like the videos, please like, comment, subscribe, follow. I'll do another video tomorrow evening. I do thank you for your time, your support. If you've not joined the Slack channel, you can go ahead and do that. It's cryptocurrency oriented, over 350 members all over the world. Just really nice, friendly community. And you can go to my site, geometriccharts.com. At the bottom, there's the link to the Slack channel as well as my social media accounts. And if you're looking for something a little more in depth, to where I do cover, it's a lot more in depth, where I do cover Bitcoin and various cryptocurrencies, stocks, and commodities as well. I do have a subscription service at geometriccharts.com. I talk about specific zones, buying entries, stop losses, and etc. You can also check that out and read more about that over at geometriccharts.com. Other than that, I hope everybody has a great day or great night, depending on where you are in the world, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.